Just so many different things. I try to wrap my head around it. So if you're interested in having your event in Arcadia, let me know. And then next week we have a Tivy two-step fundraiser on Saturday. Bart Crow's performing, Kyle Broll and Lone Star 118. And then we have trivia. Bingo is tomorrow, and it's sold out.
Sold out
It's
again?
the last one for the year.
What?
Last one for the year. So
Kyle Sinclair is here, by the way.
yes, but yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Hi,
Continue.
Kyle.
How are you?
That's what we've got going on.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Awesome. You too. Thank you.
Libby, by the way, is one of the many talented people that work at Arcadia Live, which is one of our arts and cultural centers here in Kerrville. Kyle's running for Tx-21, which is the seat held by Chip Roy. By the way, I want you to hold this. This is
Let's do it.
This is look. Doesn't that feel good?
It does.
Doesn't that feel great?
I like it.
That's the director's baton from the Symphony of the Hills director.
He
So-
stole it.
I'm gonna start using this in campaign when I start speaking and talking. Yeah.
Right. I feel like we're on a speed date here because we got so many guests.
I know,
but
we have about maybe 12 minutes.
yeah,
for him.
yeah, we got some time.
Okay.
We'll make it work here. I know you're monitoring the time, but no,
I am.
Kyle's here. He's running for the GOP side of this. This is for Chip Roy's seat. Chip's running for the Texas Attorney General because Ken Paxton's running for U.S. Senate. You threw your name in the hat, and why? What do you bring to this race? You think you've got some healthcare experience, which is a big part of this deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the first thing is love of country. Right?
Yeah.
The interest of our country and where we're at, what's going on with this country, and which caused me to get in politics, right? So for me, I got involved in politics in 2020. I saw what happened in the 2020 election, didn't like what was going on, and got off the couch and actually started getting involved, in school, started to get involved in politics and issues, started learning, getting involved in the community, right? I was one of those lazy members, Americans, that just sat back and let happen what happened.
Yeah.
For me, I got involved with a couple of congressional races, got involved in the party locally down in San Antonio. I'm from San Antonio in Bexar County. And eventually ran for Congress in 22 against the socialist Joaquin Castro.
Yeah.
Lost, obviously, because that's a deep, deep blue district down there. But after that, turned inwards and became the vice chair of the Republican Party in Bexar County, and took on many issues from the Trinidad water gang that happened to voter harvesting organization to fighting human trafficking to working with the police and fire department on local issues that they were having. And it became my love of country and my love of family. So I'm a family man. I got a big blended family of 8 kids.
Wow.
And so they're heavily involved.
How do you have time to get away?
It's a great wife, right?
Yeah.
You can't do anything without great support at home. They know it. I took them on the campaign trail. They're involved in issues. We took on an issue in North Bexar County in the school district. Led by my son, and I eventually got involved and was able to help that school district to change. And for me, it was they were pushing LGBTQ stuff in the classroom, and he didn't like it. It's not that he's against that. He didn't like it being in the classroom, and it should not have been there. So he was able to voice his concern, and I was able to bring it up to the principal, and we were able to deal with it internally. But it's that activism, that love of country that allowed me to get involved in politics. What I bring, I think, is that point, right? The country is shut down right now. It's the longest shutdown in American history. And the single one reason why it's shut down? Healthcare.
Yep. They're fighting over healthcare.
Yeah, this is the first time in decades that we actually truly can do some healthcare reform. And the best people to change healthcare are people in healthcare, not the special lobbyists or the interest groups that come in and want to buy and tell politicians how to vote and where to put the money. We've got to fix it. So that's a lot of issues. I can go on a lot of issues, but I'll pause there.
Do you think healthcare is the biggest issue?
Yeah, absolutely not. Even as a healthcare person, it never is number one. Even though we all touch it, right? We're born in this world touching healthcare. We leave this world touching healthcare, but it's never number one. Crime, economy, all these other issues start popping up and bring precedence over healthcare. So, but it's a broken system. We've got to fix it. We've got to get precedence on it.
Yeah. The Chip Roy had an interesting relationship with Trump. Trump either loved him or hated him. Wanted to primary him a couple times. Trump has not made an endorsement yet in this race. How important is his endorsement in this race?
Yeah, I think this is a deep Republican district, right? The issues obviously lean more towards Republican side of conservatism, and so my standpoint, I am actively seeking President Trump's endorsement. We are talking to his team, but many people are staying out of this race. Senator Cornyn, Senator Cruz, Chip Roy staying out of the race. I was just with him 2 nights ago. They're staying out of this race. They're letting us dogfight this out. There's quite a few candidates. And so we'll stay out of it right now, and it's going to be probably a runoff. With this many candidates, nobody's going to
with 13 candidates, right?
Yeah.
What sets you apart from some of the others that are in there? Some people are like, well, there's some carpetbaggers in this race, but what sets you apart from the rest of that field, though? Just the love of country, or is it deeper than that?
No, it's much deeper than that. I would say the number one thing for me is, what have they done? Right?
Yeah.
It's easy to say, I want to go do this, I want to be part of this, and I can ask one question that can disqualify a lot of these candidates. And we just went through the deadliest flood in Texas history, in this city, in this community. My number one question to all those candidates, all 13 of us, what did you do?
Right.
What'd you do? Right? Because it's easy to say, this is what I want to do, but what did you do?
Right.
And I'll tell you what I did day 3, I linked up with a veteran group and joined a chainsaw crew and did a cadaver dog and firefighter department and went and did search recovery on day 3.
Wow.
And I can go down the list of what did you do, right? It's easy to run for office and say, I want to do this, but what have you done? What have you done for your community? What issues have you fought? What have you been a part of? I've been the voice and the vocal of many issues that are on the Republican side that have issues in this community of Tx-21, which is 9 counties.
Yeah.
And so that's, for me, what separates me from these other candidates is what I've done for the last 4 or 5 years of fighting, activism, helping the community, been involved in issues, been the face of many of those issues.
How could have Chip Roy done things better for this district, in your estimation?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not like a pork guy. He didn't deliver any pork to us or anything like that. But how would you do things differently than what he did?
Yeah, number one, he's a fighter. I like fighters. I like people that fight. But I think fighting also means fighting to bring money back to the district, right? You represent that district. You have access to a lot of money up in government, and you should fight for the constituents and bring those projects and money back. Not that he hasn't, but he has a great track record of voting very strong conservative. But my job in Congress will be to fight for the constituents. Yes, by the way you vote for bills, but it's also by bringing resources, funds, tapping into that, and developing these communities here. So
I don't believe that Chip did that at all. I think he was more, to me, he felt like he was more, I feel like he was trying to put himself on the national stage, which he kind of did. He was very effective, and with the Freedom Caucus and doing that. But I mean, as far as like it really addressing the needs of this district, I don't know that he was always on the same page, even though it's a very conservative district. I don't, So I guess that's the biggest thing is like, how are we going to, going forward over the next few years, when you have a district that is deeply red, but there's probably some things that they're very concerned about. Obviously the price of housing, the health care, the flood recovery is a big issue. A lot of people are seeing, right now, like FEMA has got been stingy about some of this stuff, and how do we advocate for that?
Yeah, and I think to your point, I can't speak for Chip's. He's got to deal with his own history and what he's done and what he's doing. Again, he's a great patriot, and I'll let him fight his race. But I would say that very thing, right? Those issues, you got to tackle it. You got to know, and you got to be in the heart of it, and then you got to have the connections, the strength to be able to go utilize those connections, and then fight for those resources back home, and make sure that it actually gets to the hands of the people that are dealing with the issues, right? The local, municipal, and the county level, and you got to fight for those resources.
Right.
So I would say that's what I would do. I get into the issues, I get to the heart of it, I know to the people, I get to the relationships, and then I go up to DC and fight to bring those funds back. And then I don't stop until it's done, until we have it.
Is bipartisanship dead in America?
Yeah, that's a great.
I was wanting to ask a similar question.
What I would say, a lot of people don't realize the 118th session of Congress, which was just last session, was the least effective in U.S. history of passing dual partisanship.
Right.
So it is a highly partisan organization, and we're in that way because of what's going on many fronts, right? I mean, how do you side with somebody on some of these issues of closed border, open border? There's what's the middle ground of it? Let half of them come in? I mean, so you got to be very staunch on some of these issues, and we're seeing it across the board. We just went through some major stuff, particularly in the city of New York, right? And what happened with elections, and elections have consequences. So I wouldn't say it's dead. I think we need to get back there.
Yeah.
You need people that can reach across the aisle and really see both sides of it, and maybe, depending on the issue, some compromise to be able to get bills and things moved without compromising your integrity and the morals and the things you're running on. So.
Yeah. I mean, because America's great strength, I always view, is the ability to compromise. And somehow along the line, that's not been something that we do very well anymore. We seem to fight it out on things. I don't know why that is exactly. Well, I have some ideas, but I mean that's the big question. How do you? I was at a thing last night, and there were some Democrats there, and they were like, "I'm not talking to those people ever again."
Yeah.
You know. But how do you reach across the aisle? How would you do it? You know.
Yeah, I think.
How do you?
Yeah, how do you do it? Right.
I'd say number one on common beliefs. Right? You got to build on common beliefs, and the common belief that I think every American should have is the safety of the community that they live in.
Yeah.
There's no way to bring it, right? You can start talking big issues, but you bring it back home.
Right.
You bring it back home, right? If you have children, you want them safe. You want them educated. If you have a family, you want them to live in a community that's secure and doing well with crime and economy. So I think you bring it back home. I'm not a big fan of lifelong politicians. I think we've got to get away from that. I signed already the term limits. I'm a huge believer of that. I've got no interest going up to Congress to be a lifelong politician.
Right.
I think you eventually start working harder for your coworkers than you do your constituents.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you do it, right? That's one way of breaking that, pushing them back into their district, make sure they are involved in the community so they hear the issues. And then you got to be able to fight out. Look, Congress is not supposed to be one easy, loving. No.
Yeah.
It's set up to have two different parties that counterbalance each other, that can fight, so that the best bills, the best issues get the light of day, get the resources, the limited resources in some cases, and so that we can move this country along. So we're not set up to be kumbaya, but you got to find something where you can move this country along.
What do you think Texas needs? I look at Texas, I'm not a native, but I look at Texas as a tremendous area of opportunity, and entrepreneurial spirit is alive very well here. But I see some precariousness in the future. What do you think you need to fight for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Texas is great. I'm an 8th generation Texan myself. Been here for many generations, born and raised in the Houston area, been in San Antonio since 2009. It's the 7th largest economy in the world. We got things booming. We just opened up the Texas Stock Exchange, right? That's great. When you're probably going to see the collapse of New York Stock Exchange and a lot of issues over there. Texas got a lot of things going for it, but we have our own issues. We have our issues on many fronts that I think we need to fight. One of them, I was just talking to some constituents just this week, was about water rights, particularly in the hill country, right?
Yeah.
Farmers, ranchers. It's a big issue. It's a big deal to me, being from Texas, fighting for that. I think the economy, we've got to fix the economy too. And then the crime, the security, I can go down the list of issue after issue after issue. But I think Texas has a lot going for itself. And we need to continue to fight and push. I'm sick to death of paying property taxes. Yeah. It is absolutely ridiculous.
But how do you reconcile that whole? I mean, it's not really a federal issue, but a local issue that matters to a lot of people. How do you reconcile that? What do you replace it with? We got to have our gigantic flyovers in San Antonio.
Yeah,
those aren't cheap.
Yeah, they're not. I don't know, but I think anybody who owns a house should own a house. I'm tired of the federal government taxing. I do believe in limited government and taxation with representation, and I think we've got to get rid of things. I would say another issue that is a federal that does impact the state is the Department of Education. Federal Department of Education, disband it, get rid of it. Texas spends tens of billions of dollars. Right on a national level, we're hundreds of billions of dollars. Get rid of something like that, bring it back to the states, allow the community in the states to take care of education. But there's a lot of things that you can go on that front that do have federal but have a lot of state implications. Right.
You mentioned the LGBTQ plus. How do you deal with that community that's starting to feel like there's a lot of comments now that they feel ostracized from folks. I think that there's a lot of great LGBTQ people in our community already. How do you manage that? How do you work with them?
Yeah, I would say number one, everybody's open to their affiliation, sexual orientation. I support it. I'm grateful for it. Go do what you need to do. What I don't like is taking away my freedoms, my rights, and responsibilities as a parent and the way I choose to parent my children. Right. The thing I keep saying is that why do you have to push it into schools? Why the schools, right? And you can think back, and I'll ask both of you the same questions. Do you remember a teacher growing up I don't remember in middle school, elementary, high school, knowing the sexual orientation of any of my teachers.
No, I do.
Do you?
I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
I don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
And it depends on where you
Well,
grew up, right?
I, mean,
I grew up in Texas.
I grew up in California.
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. But
Well, we
when
had
I'm
a fabulous prom in 1989 because the guy was gay. So I mean, it was
yeah, there
fabulous.
you go. Yeah. So, but you know what I was saying is why push it on? You know, let people live the life they want to live.
Mm-hmm.
Let people's rights stand for the way they want to stand, and I support what they want to do, as long as you're not taking away my rights and my freedoms. Right?
Yeah.
You have your space, I have my space. So I think you can commingle. I know many people that are gay, lesbian, and I've got no issues with them at all.
Yeah.
We get along great.
You have 8 kids, you said.
Yeah.
What are the ages?
Yeah, so oldest is about to turn 22, about to join the active duty Army.
Nice.
I got 2 that are in college. I got a senior in high school, 2 sophomores, and then 7th grader and a kindergartner. So it was blended family, right?
Yeah.
So wife had 3, I had 3. We had 2 kids together.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow. That's like the Brady Bunch on steroids.
it is.
It's crazy.
It is. Yeah.
The race though, with the 13 candidates, like it's a sprint to March.
Sure.
Really.
Yeah.
What is your anticipation? What that campaign looks like, and trying to navigate all the depth of Texas 21, and explain to us the district.
Yeah, so the district of any congressional district is made up of 766,000, roughly 766,000 constituents. In District 21, it's 9 counties, multiple counties. Obviously, Bexar County being one of them is the largest portion of that. It's about 17%, about 300 and little over 330,000 constituents of it. So it's a pretty big portion of it. I think what separates me again from those others is what I've done, what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a sprint. When you break it down, it's 13 weekends. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a whole lot. And for me, I'm not focused on the other candidates. I'm focused on the people, the policies, and the issues. And what I bring is a vast of experience, both real world from my professional healthcare experience to getting involved in advocate on many fronts and issues. So
Right.
unapologetic, afraid of speaking on any issue. There's nothing off limits to me. I'm very vocal about where I stand. I'm very open to talk to, but I have a common belief that
Yeah.
we can still commingle and create the best solution. So,
Do you think Trump plays a key role in this whole thing? Do people? I mean, he's very popular here, obviously.
Yeah.
Nationally, the poll numbers are kind of on the downward trend there, but he's been that way for a while. How important is his endorsement and his role in this campaign?
yeah, I think what Trump represents to the American people is the unapologetic America first, right? We're tired of being taken advantage of, and you can go everything from tariffs, right, to you name it, right? Taking care of the border, taking care of the people, getting rid of people that are on SNAP that shouldn't be on SNAP, getting rid of illegals who shouldn't be here, who didn't come through the legal route. I think that's what Trump represents, right? And that spoke to the core of the people, which caused the massive red wave, which created a trifecta where he won the president, they won the Senate, and they won the House. The people of America spoke, right? And there's no way around that. Will there be a continuation in the 2026 midterm elections? I think so. I think the people are still, there's a lot that he's done in 1 year. He had to unpack 4 years of what the Biden administration did to this country. And so it's going to take some time. But,
Yeah.
I do think Trump is still the leader of the Republican Party, the conservative movement, and that MAGA movement. People don't realize that MAGA movement is huge, just like the Tea Party movement was huge. Right? And the MAGA movement is Make America Great, but it's also being unapologetic about America first. Put America's interests first, right? People don't like the tariffs. I like the tariffs. Yeah, it's costs a little bit of money because we're weeding through some of that stuff, but people don't realize the very first word of it is reciprocal tariffs. What that means is our allies were taking advantage of America and American taxpayers. So,
Oh yeah, I mean,
Right.
I don't disagree with that, but the tariffs though, ultimately, it's been sort of delayed on how it's worked because it hasn't really been
Sure.
consistent. But
Sure.
I mean, aren't they a tax on the American people? Do you view it that way or not?
What, the tariff?
Yeah,
Or?
because we're paying for it ultimately, right?
Well, I think you still have federal judges who are trying to stop Trump and saying that he can't initiate tariff
Yeah.
trades and all that stuff, right? And I've heard other issues going on with it. I think at the end of the day that when our own allies like Australia is tariffing our products, when
Yeah.
South Korea is tariffing our products, when China, Mexico, right, all these countries that we're allies with that we pump billions of dollars worth,
Right.
and they're taking advantage of us, yeah, I do. I think that. The other thing people don't realize in that tariffs is that we consume, we're the largest consumer in the world.
Right.
$27 trillion a year that America consumes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and you gotta
China's
take
got a
care of
problem
this.
too with intellectual property theft. They steal
Absolutely.
everything, so it's
Absolutely.
that's the biggest one. And I think that actually is bipartisan agreement in a lot of areas.
Yeah,
So,
I would say the other thing, you'll see it on my website, my campaign video, is stopping China from buying our farmland,
Yeah.
particularly close to military bases, but across the board in the state of
Right,
Texas.
right.
So, yeah, I got issues with the globalist type concept. I'm more of a nationalist of America first. I'm a community first, right? My concept is to take care of my family,
Right.
my house, and then I start spreading out to my community. When the community's taken care of, then you start going state goes to national, and that's why the Constitution was set up. It was not to be a nationalized government that the federal government dictated and telling us what to do as a country. That's
Yeah.
why we have state constitutional rights.
good stuff. Good luck on your campaign.
Thank
Kerr County is obviously very important because that's where we have money here.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
money here. You got to knock
Yeah.
some doors as well.
Absolutely.
So I
We
love
plan
it.
on doing that. Can
love
I
it.
do a shout out to my info?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Kyle for Texas. So Kyle, KYLEFORTX.com. All over social media. Have a big social media following. I stand on a lot of issues and current issues. But I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have an article tomorrow in our newsletter about Kyle's appearance here on The Lead. And look forward to talking to you again.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir. Here's the
Appreciate it.
baton
Great
back.
day.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Unless you want me to take it.
It's well balanced, isn't it? All right.
Nice
Thank you very
meeting.
much. Appreciate
All right,
it.
thanks, you guys.
All right. Libby, did you learn anything from that conversation?